Hello, and welcome to Coffee and Cosmos, your 15-day outlook on what's happening astrologically through the second half of October, so your experience of life makes a bit more sense and you can move through life with a lot more ease. I'm Panda Hershey, astrologer and founder of Your Full Expression. I use astrology to coach people on how to navigate life and relationships. If you'd like to learn how to work with me, just DM me on Instagram with the word compass and let's chat. Okay, let's get going. I'm going to share my slides. And for those of you that are new, we are walking through how the planets are moving day by day, and they move generally counterclockwise in this direction. Retrograde movement is clockwise. And you'll notice that each of the planets is a different color, marked by all these different colors. And last week, Venus, here in pink, was opposite Saturn over here. So it was an opportunity for each person in a relationship to receive or accept the work that they have to do or the responsibility that they believe they have in the relationship. And you can see right now is that the sun in Libra is moving opposite Chiron, and that started on the 15th. So this is where Chiron is moving all year through a little bit of Aries. The other thing that you can see is that Mercury here and Mars in red are really close together, and they are going to meet up in a few days. Okay, so let's take it day by day. On the 17th, the sun is exactly opposite Chiron at 25 degrees of Libra. So based on what each person said that they accepted as their work, actions will start to happen in or through the relationship that brings something important to your attention or their attention. And it might be, oh, this is not giving me the result I expected. Or maybe there are gaps in terms of what you both want in the relationship. Or maybe you thought what each person was going to do was not going to be enough. And you realize, oh my gosh, this can work. Or I don't need to do as much now. But there will be some sort of surprise. On the 19th, that's Sunday, Mercury meets up with Mars at 19 degrees of Scorpio. And this is a day when emotions may run really high based on each person's feelings. So if one of you is feeling like the other person doesn't get it or is holding back, this is a day when it all might spill out. So there is time between now and Sunday to release some of the pressure that you might feel building up. So do what you can to have some honest conversations that allow you to begin letting those feelings emerge and even inviting them and being prepared for a lot of emotions to come. On the 21st, the sun finishes moving opposite that Chiron portal. So maybe you've had some realizations and had some kind of opportunity to share your feelings about them. It's no coincidence that this is happening at a time when both Mercury and Mars are in Scorpio, almost forcing the feelings to come out. And this is also the day, next Tuesday, the 21st, when the Mercury portal opens at 21 degrees of Scorpio. So this is going to be 8 weeks of exploring your feelings in a relationship and being very sensitive to how the other person is feeling and looking for a path forward. finding out what you have to learn from each other as you navigate where this relationship is going. And of course, you will be back here at 21 degrees of Scorpio at the end of November. So if you can pay attention to the topics that are coming up at this point, you'll probably be revisiting them then. Okay. On the 22nd, the next day, Mars, remember, Mercury just passed Mars. Mars will enter that Mercury portal. And so, with Mars right behind Mercury, what this means is any calm discussion will lead to some big feelings afterwards. And so, you may have a conversation, hang up the phone, and then the next day it's like, I feel really excited if it's maybe some new collaboration, or I feel really frustrated about what we talked about. I'm realizing, oh my gosh, this makes me feel like this, and I've got to let it out. So um, just be prepared for a lot of conversations and then big feelings to follow, and you're being able to talk through them. And by inviting the other person's feelings to be expressed safely and to be prepared for that will help you navigate through this because there's a lot more to come, especially if there is some relationship reset going on in your life. On the same day, Neptune enters Pisces again. And so Neptune, I think about as this effortless ability, and Pisces is about sensing the feelings of the people around you. And so pay attention to who shows up. It will be the right people. And just noticing what energy kind of aligns with who you are in this new paradigm. Don't forget, Pluto just started moving forward again, that the new you, may need a new set of people around you. And just noticing will be important. Okay. On the 26th, Mercury is still in its portal, but it is now opposite where the Uranus portal is, going back and forth between Taurus and Gemini. And this may be a realization almost, a thinking about, oh, wow, I'm recognizing that where this is going, where this relationship is calling on me to show up differently. And it may be a discussion, it may be an internal realization, but this is may be what is coming up for you. And you'll get to revisit it again. On the 29th, Mercury is exactly opposite Uranus at a half a degree of Sagittarius. And so this is a day when the two of you may have a discussion about a direction for the relationship. Like, let's just head in this direction. And think about at this point, what could you try? Just a nice, easy, like shift in this direction. And when you ask, what do we each have to learn from each other? Then that creates the possibilities of where this relationship can go. And keep in mind, this is just round one. What you decide, maybe on this day, maybe in this time frame, is not going to be the end result. If you think of it as, all right, we're just trying this, then you you'll keep your expectations low and be open to possibilities, which is where we really need to be with this Mercury portal, because there will be a lot of back and forth, and I don't want you to give up. And then on the 31st, Mars gets to be at that point where it is opposite that Uranus portal in Scorpio. So it is almost this recognition of, wow, um, I've got to change because I can see that this other person is responding to me in a certain way, and I'm either enthusiastic and am totally going for it, or I am really frustrated. And so maybe one person is kind of complaining about the change that is required in how they show up. But just be prepared and know it's not the end of it, because change is uncomfortable. If you are resetting a relationship where there has been a pattern of behavior that needs to shift, you know that those shifts don't happen overnight. And so a gentle allowing is how you will navigate these 8 weeks. I know it seems long, but this is going until mid-December. So just hang in there. On that same day, Venus is opposite the Chiron portal, the start of the Chiron portal, and it becomes perhaps an acceptance, a validation of where the relationship is going based on everything that's happened so far. And just know that, again, things may shift, but it is a step in the right direction. Okay. I always like to go back and show the movement of the planets without my talking. So I'm going to do that one more time so you have a chance to see that. Here we go. Sorry. Okay. So, how to navigate the second half of October. So, based on what each person accepted, based on what they knew as their responsibility, there may be some surprises this week as actions start happening based on those um, like realizations. And at this point, as you start to take action in the relationship, new feelings or new realizations may come up. And if those realizations are enthusiasm, that is awesome, right? A new collaboration, you realize, oh my God, I didn't know it could be this good. That is great. And at the same time, there may be a relationship reset where perhaps you realize, oh my gosh, they're doing what I asked and I still don't feel the way I thought I would, or I didn't believe that they could do it, and they are. But be open to all the possibilities. And on based on all these interactions, you may find that a lot of feelings start coming up. So be prepared for that on the 19th. And this openness is setting the stage for 8 weeks, 8 very long weeks of exploring mutual trust and being able to share your feelings with each other and finding this way forward for the relationship. And both people may start to realize during this early part that, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to show up differently than I have before. And that's okay. So let's break down each of those sections. From we're here from the 15th to the 21st, the sun is moving opposite the Chiron portal. It is exact on the 17th. So, what is happening in the relationship that brings up something surprising or unexpected to your attention or to their attention? And just notice what that is. On the 19th, Mercury has caught up to Mars at 19 degrees of Scorpio. So be prepared for total honesty that day in your conversations. So if you've been holding back, a lot may come out. I highly recommend trying, if you anticipate that, trying to allow for the pressure to be released a little bit ahead of time. And if you can make it safe for that conversation to happen, do whatever you can. On the 21st, the Mercury portal opens at 21 degrees of Scorpio. And so for 8 weeks, Mercury will travel along this blue line one way, then backward, the retrograde, and then forward again. And that is the entire 8 week Mercury portal. And so it is all about exploring, letting my feelings be known, not hiding them. And if you've had trouble sharing how you really feel in a relationship, this is your opportunity to change this for good in this new paradigm. And so just be ready to be very sensitive to the other person's feelings in any relationship, frankly. And how you respond will be so important in determining how this relationship goes. So just keep that in mind. From the 22nd to November 13th, Mars here is moving through this Mercury portal very slowly. And so keep in mind that conversations are going to bring up some big feelings. Just be ready for that. You'll have a conversation, and then the next day or soon after, there may be some repercussions. If you're prepared for them, then you'll be ready to receive them, and vice versa. Also on the 22nd, Neptune moves back into Pisces. And so, without any effort, you may start to recognize the people whose energy you want around you, the ones who are going to support how you are going to be in relationships going forward, and who you're going to be, period, going forward. Who supports that? And then from the 26th to the 31st, Mercury is opposite the Uranus portal to have you think about how you need to show up differently and how you are using this new perspective you've been cultivating since mid-July, this new thought process, this new way of thinking to think about your path forward. It's exact on the 29th when you may be discussing, okay, we are going to try this with our relationship, because I think you'll probably realize at this point that there will be no going back. Okay, tips to thrive. Honesty is key for any important one-to-one relationship. Don't wait to start sharing how you really feel. The more you can keep the honesty out there and use tact, kindness in your interactions, the more straightforward, with all its twists and turns, this journey will be in finding where this relationship is going. Keep in mind, everyone is allowed to change their minds or their perspectives, and there will be a lot of this in the next 2 months. Just trust me, you'll think you have nailed it, and then something shifts, and it could be you, and you're allowed to change your mind. And one-to-one relationships are just simply a theme through mid-December. So give yourself and the relationship that much time for the journey to unfold. It's not going to happen in a week. It's not going to happen in the next 2 weeks. And what you agree to now probably is not going to stick. Allow for it to evolve. And so if you are in a relationship reset or some new collaboration, the next couple months really will take time to unfold and allow you to see where it's going. So it's not going to happen in a straight line, and that's exactly how it's meant to go, to give everyone a chance to take tiny steps. And it's almost like having a blindfold on, and you're holding each other's hand, not knowing where you're going, and figuring it out along the way. And I'm just realizing that I didn't update these slides. Inside Compass, you get the bigger map and tools to navigate with foresight, but this Mercury retrograde is teaching you how to work with the rhythm instead of against it. So catch my free Mercury Retrograde Masterclass and learn how to use the Mercury Retrograde um, so you can get through this knowing where the twists and turns are and come through with your relationships on the track that you really want them to be. There is a link in the description to catch that, and I hope to see you there. Thanks so much. Have a great second half of October, and I'll see you next time.